Thank you very much for joining me on this Sunday. I'm meteorologist Brian Shields, and I hope you're doing well. Thank you for taking the time to subscribe to the channel. Couple spots we're watching. One north of the Bahamas. Here's Bermuda, and just near the coast of the Carolinas. This area has a small window to become Helene. We've been tracking that together for days and days now. And then this area here in the Western Caribbean, even Central Caribbean, down the road, about a week from now, even less, has a chance of seeing a spin up. So I'll be watching us near Jamaica, Cayman Islands, even back toward Belize. Now, let's start with kind of what's going on in the immediate area. Here's South Carolina, North Carolina. There's that area north of the Bahamas. This area is going to gradually work its way today closer to the coast. And then some of the models have this move inland as soon as tonight and tomorrow morning into South Carolina. The European model, though, is a little slower. And I know there's a zillion lines on this map, so I want to break it down a bit further. Now, in the short term, well, how strong could this area get? Well, a lot of the modeling does have it become a tropical storm, which would be this green shading in here. This map is also kind of strange. There's a lot of lines on it. All of them represent a computer, those computer models. This is 12 hours out in time, 24 hours out in time, so we're 2 days out in time, 3 days out in time. Just over the next about 12 to 24 hours, most of the modeling does have this becoming a tropical storm, which would take the name Helene, and then of course weakening, because at that point it would move inland. So watching this spot here, here's Bermuda just to orient you, and we've had these fronts, the Atlantic region of Canada here. Here they are the northern Bahamas, Freeport, New Providence, but it's this spot here. Now here's the American model. It's a little different than the European model. The American model has this wrap up or get stronger into about a minimal tropical storm and then work inland by tonight and tomorrow morning. So kind of quickly moving in. This will work its way into the Carolinas, both South and North Carolina, and then work its way in tonight. And you see all these fronts kind of sitting here, and then it would weaken again. Winds maybe around 40, 45 miles per hour. The rain, a big issue, of course, as it lifts to the north. Could see several inches of rain, 6+ inches in some spots. So this is that quicker scenario, and then you see the rain working up toward Virginia and even over toward West Virginia as we work our way into Tuesday. But there is a difference, and I'm not sure which one will pan out. The European model is a little bit slower. Because this area has not developed, it is hard to know the timing of it. But point being, there's going to be heavier rain lifting in here. So here's Cuba, Jamaica, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Bahamas, southeast of the U.S. It's this spot here. Now the European model sees it as well and says, hey, this looks like it will become a tropical storm or close to it. This is by the time we get into tomorrow morning. The American model tomorrow morning has it moving inland to South Carolina, right? The European model still has it off the coast tomorrow morning, which would mean a longer period of rain, where some spots could see up to 8 inches of rain. And you see that spin here. This would be by later in the day on Monday. Still not on shore. So I mentioned I'm not quite sure which scenario wins out. Either way, tropical storm conditions are going to be moving in with heavy rain. So that's going to happen. But you see here, this is by Tuesday morning. Still the center of whatever this is would be just off the coast of North Carolina. So you see that kind of big difference. This is by Tuesday morning, but still working in the rain. The general impacts would be the same: gustier tropical storm force winds, heavy rain and flood threat. And then by later on Tuesday and Wednesday, lifting up. So American model has us moving in tonight into parts of South Carolina. The European model has it a little bit slower, and then eventually working into North Carolina, especially by the time we get into Tuesday. All right, let's flip over into Gordon. Here is Gordon. One thing I like about this picture: no land around it. Every name system so far this season has made a landfall. I'm hoping Gordon is the one that does not, and I'm hoping it does make its curve. Now here we are, Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, St. Lucia, Dominica, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You could see these areas of rain and storms here, but Gordon is pretty far to the north of that typical train of rain and storms and tropical waves. Gordon should make a curve. There are these fronts up to the north. Now, the official forecast path has it weakening, and I want to show you this weakening as well, and then eventually trying to make that curve. You can see almost all of the models now. About 3 days ago, some of the models were kind of split, just drifting a weak area off toward the west, but almost all of the models now have this thing make a bigger hook and kind of stay out to sea. And you can see it here, and it's actually hard to see. Right in here, there's going to be weakening. Yesterday I showed you that dry air, so watching this spot, of course, near the Carolinas, but it's running right into that dry pocket of air that I showed you in yesterday's video. So that's the weakening part of this. And then the second part will be the track, these fronts up to the north, which will actually help to kind of grab this, give this a window to kind of, it'll almost merge. It looks like it may kind of merge with this front and then lift to the north. So this is by the time we get into Tuesday. Here we are in the Caribbean. Here we are in Puerto Rico right here. And then as we go out in time, you see it here. It may actually flare up again, but either way, it starts to make that curve more to the north and then eventually off toward the northeast. This is by the time we get into late on Wednesday, and then that area should make its way away. Now, after these two areas that we're tracking that I just showed you, the next big thing to watch will be what's going on here. Here's Jamaica. This is by the end of the week. By about Thursday and Friday, a lot of rain is going to build. This here is by Saturday. That is what is probably still Gordon at that point trying to leave. But look at all this rain. Now, is development guaranteed? Absolutely not. It's a wait and see. Nothing's even there now. But in the Western Caribbean for us, we're going to see some rain building late week. There is the potential, of course, it's the height of hurricane season. Water temps very warm, but I need to look at the other conditions as well. We know it's been so dry well above our heads, but there is that chance that something tries to develop right near Jamaica by later this weekend, the upcoming weekend, and then eventually lifts up to the north. So this is going to kind of be the headline that we'll be tracking together as we go throughout the week. Now, as far as the seas go, you can see everything reflected with these systems I'm tracking in these seas. Of course, building off the coast of the southeast U.S., and then you have this spot here with Gordon. Of course, dangerous seas north of the Bahamas over the next few days. This here is as we work our way into a Monday. Here's that spot with Gordon, but you see it almost kind of falling apart, but the sea's kind of a mess over toward the northern sections of the Atlantic with a couple big spins that have been moving off with these old fronts. This here is by Wednesday. Gulf of Mexico is looking good, but we start to get a bit of a chop in the central Caribbean by the time we get into the middle of the week. So the next area that does develop will be called Helene, and I mentioned that small window near the Carolinas that this could spin up into a tropical storm, but either way, tropical storm conditions, some heavier rain moving in over the next couple days. Then the next name on the list is Isaac, then Joyce, Kirk, Leslie, Milton, and Nadine after that. Let's hope we don't get too far down the list. Now, look at these blobs of rain. Nothing organized here. So I'm watching Barbados down through Trinidad and Tobago, not seeing organization, but this will give us unsettled weather again. Grenada, St. Vincent the Grenadines, St. Lucia, seeing areas of rain and storms moving in. You see in the modeling just a scattering of rain and storms. In the short term, not a ton for many of us. And with the drier weather, especially the northeastern sections of the Caribbean, drier this time of year means so very hot. Please use caution with this heat. You can see not much in the way of rain on the map. A hit or miss shower storm as we work our way into Monday. And that'll be the same thing on Tuesday. So that means the heat in the beginning of the week, and now through the beginning of the week, we're talking about extreme heat around. But then by later in the week, we'll be watching the Western Caribbean. That's that next area that will develop. Now, Ileana was that tropical storm I was watching yesterday near the Gulf of California. Can barely see anything at this point. It did just kind of weaken and fall apart, but watching out for some heavy areas of rain over toward parts of Mexico, especially back toward Mexico City. So a scattering areas of rain and storms, just kind of rolling through this quickly. If you get a shower or storm, 25 millimeters of rain or an inch of rain will be possible. Cayman Islands, Jamaica, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Cuba, mainly dry Turks and Caicos, pop-up shower, Puerto Rico, but we're looking at about a 20% chance. And you see how rain totals very minimal to nothing at all the next 3 days. And that's the heat we're going to have. St. Martin, Anguilla, Antigua, Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, Montserrat. It is going to be so very hot and very hot right down through Trinidad and Tobago, but in this sector here, slightly better chance of the rain and storms with that area that is off to the east. We could get a few spots over the next 3 days, getting 50 millimeters of rain or 2 inches of rain, including northeastern Venezuela down through Guyana. Suriname, we're northeastern Venezuela down through Guyana. I think I had that right. And then Suriname, we are mainly dry. Scattered areas of rain and storms, a little bit more Guatemala and El Salvador. Watching out for that chance of some rain and storms that could give us a quick inch or two of rain. And then Belize, generally dry, but here's some of that heavier rain as you get back toward parts of Mexico. near Mexico City, not as much as we get toward the Yucatan. So Jamaica, we're looking at a 30 to 40% chance of some spotty showers and storms, kind of isolated, but the end of the week, that's what I'll be watching for us. Same thing, Cayman Islands. Rain chance stays on the small side, but all eyes on what may try to develop later this week. Trinidad and Tobago, our rain chance 50 to 60%. If we're dry, we're hot. If we're getting a storm, it could be on the strong side. Barbados, 40 to 50% chance of a passing thunderstorm the next few days. St. Lucia, 30% chance today. 50% chance tomorrow, and we do that again in Grenada, seeing that chance of some scattered showers and storms early in the week. Same thing, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You see by Tuesday, we're up to a 60% chance, and we've already had some rain around overnight in some of our islands. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Martinique, 40 to 50% chance, and a 40 to 50% chance in Dominica. And very hot if we're not getting rain. We are baking out there. 30 to 40% chance in Guadeloupe. And as we get to the north, rain chance down further. Antigua, Barbuda, just a 20% chance. We're mainly dry. St. Kitts and Nevis and Montserrat, generally on the dry side. Anguilla and St. Bart's over the next few days. So very hot. St. Martin, Saba, Statia, the heat is on. 10 to 20% chance of a stray storm popping up in Puerto Rico. Heat advisories are up. U.S. Virgin Islands over toward the British Virgin Islands. The heat with us. 40% chance of a couple showers and storms, mainly northern and central Bahamas. Turks and Caicos also generally on the dry side, and only an isolated chance of a storm in the Dominican Republic. We are hot and mainly dry right across Haiti from Port-au-Prince down through Jacmel. Belize, our rain chance gets a little higher, but not much. We're still very hot. Hopkins over toward Ladyville, but about a 40% chance of a shower tomorrow. Aruba, mainly dry. Slight chance of a passing shower on Tuesday as we get into Curacao and Bonaire, and a few scattered showers today in Guyana. But as we get toward the eastern end of Guyana, back towards Suriname, generally dry conditions for the long haul. Cuba, we'll see a better chance of some afternoon storms Monday and Tuesday. Costa Rica, we're looking at about a 50% chance of scattered showers and storms back through Panama. Nicaragua, a 40 to 50% chance, and about a 30% chance today in Honduras. Rain chance stays limited. That 50% chance, with that chance of some flooding, Guatemala and El Salvador. In that elevated chance, Mexico City, that's going to stick around for days, watching out for some of the flooding. 30% chance, though, through the Yucatan, Cozumel, over toward Cancun and Merida. Northern Colombia, generally dry today. Pop-up shower possible tomorrow. Northern Venezuela, 30-40% chance. And that higher chance of rain today in Bermuda with that front around, and watching a couple systems nearby. That one near the Carolinas, just off to the west of Bermuda. So Gordon looks to make a curve. We have that new area near the Carolinas that may become Helene. Watching that Caribbean closely, because development will be possible starting soon as later in the upcoming week. Know that I'm watching it behind the scenes, not just watching the models, but what I'm seeing out there in the environment. So if anything spins up in the Caribbean, I've got you covered right here. I hope you have a good Sunday ahead. Be safe. I'll get to you in the comments. I'll be going through those throughout the day. Thank you for those kind words. Have a good day ahead.